everyone, this is Eileen from Eileen Stuffs, and today we are going to track my expenses and see what I spent my miscellaneous money on that I left in the bank from my May 1st paycheck. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. I am a cash budgeter and stuffer here on YouTube, and I am working on paying off debt as well as building up an emergency and sinking fund. If that is something that interests you and you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Let me tell you how much I didn't really want to sit down and make this video because I think it's like just facing the truth a little. The miscellaneous line of a budget in itself is a budgeted line, but then it's almost like micro breaking down that line into the details, and that I think is what was like, ugh. Okay, but I got my nerd supplies here. I got my calculator. I'm really excited that I will get to use my protractor today when I'm gonna do a little chart and kind of see the percentages. I've been dying for a reason to use my protractor. And I finally get a chance. I was like, oh, I have to go get my math kit upstairs. So we got that. We got the calculator. We are ready to geek out. But let's first look and see what I actually did. Today is Saturday, so tomorrow's you'll be seeing this video tomorrow on Sunday, which is Mother's Day. So if you're a mother, or if you are a stepmother, a caretaker, you are really important in someone's life, then I say Happy Mother's Day to you. So I'm about to do my budget, so I really wanted to sit down and see what was happening here before I did my budget so I can account for some changes I need to make, right? And here we go. All right, so these were my expenses, extra expenses. My miscellaneous starting balance was $209.25. So when I did my budget on May 1st and I broke it down, that's what I left in the bank. This is what I do every month. I used to leave a lot more, but then I've gotten a little bit more comfortable leaving in less. But, you know, I always leave that amount, and then when it comes to the new budget, I don't often have that much left. And so now I think it's just, someone actually in the comments suggested that I keep track of my miscellaneous line, and I was like, oh yeah, you know what, they're right, I think I'll try it. So that kind of started this whole thing. I'll go through line by line real quick and then we'll break it down. So for starters, I would say that my assumptions about where my money was going was mostly true. Like I said, sometimes it comes to unaccounted for or unexpected expenses. I didn't count in the budget. And then a lot of times it comes down to food. And I definitely noticed a theme here as far as what I'm spending my money on, which was actually pretty eye-opening for me. Things just got pretty busy, I think, with my scheduling and work and other things. And for me being out of the house for like pretty much all day long, and then just needing food in the day. So I had work lunch for $23.83, another work lunch for $15.77. The 5th I got coffee, that was $4.82. Also that day I was gone all day and I decided to go to the gym, but I had left my water bottle somewhere. I have no idea where, but I didn't want to go home because I was at the gym already. So I just was like, whatever, I'll just buy water. Okay, so that was $2.01. And then I did end up using my food grocery money for my budget, but then still needing, and I still have food in the freezer, so that's good, but I still ended up needing toilet paper, which you go to, I go to Sam's Club and it's like 20 something dollars, paper towels, laundry soap, right? So I ended up just being like, I just have to go to Target, and I don't want to, like, I didn't budget this extra cash. Wasn't paying attention to some of the stuff. Like I kind of knew I needed some things, but I wasn't paying attention to everything I needed. Therefore, I ended up doing $25.38. So not really too bad because I did have cash from my food money, but I also ended up using my debit card. Then this was a totally non-necessary expense, but on the 9th, I got my car washed. It was $10, and I just felt like my car just like really needed to be washed. I really love keeping my car looking nice. I love my car, you guys. Yeah, I just really love my car, and I like to like treat it well. So it was just so dirty, and so like on the outside it was really dirty from like the wind here and rain or who knows what else. And the inside was getting like it really needed to be vacuumed and taken care of. So I broke down. I was like, man, I know I just, and I guess technically I could just take $10 out of my car fund and put it back. So I kind of thought about just taking $10 because my car does have its own envelope. So it has its own, I mean, that's how much I love my car, right? It has its own envelope. It has its own savings account. So I was, that did cross my mind, but I was like, man, I have the miscellaneous money. That money I like to keep for a car emergency. And then another expense that wasn't quite food or work related was I totally forgot, and I haven't been paying attention to this, but I do have like YouTube music, because you can download music, and I listen to it in my car and I listen to it at the gym, and I have kept that. So that's $14.07 a month, and I just always forget to put it in my budget. I guess I've had to decide, do I want to keep this or do I want to get rid of it, because it's not necessary, to be honest. But I really don't do hardly anything for myself, if I'm being, I just really don't do much for myself. I pretty much just work, go to the gym, you know, just kind of, this is like the one little treat I have to myself, to be able to like have music when I'm working out, have music in my car. Because again, like I said, you can download music and then you're not using your internet, which I only have 2 gigabytes on my phone. So anyway, I always forget to put this on my budget, and then it comes out of my miscellaneous. So I'm like, meh, right? So then I accounted for that. And then again, the rest was again work. I needed 12. That was like a coffee. I didn't realize I ran out of coffee. And I know $5.20 for coffee is expensive, right? Like coffee, I'm sure coffee everywhere is getting like that. But yeah, coffee here is getting expensive. And the same thing. I was just, I think from the 12th, I was literally, well, some of these, I put the dates when they came through on my checking account, but it doesn't mean these all happen on the same day. It's just sometimes that it comes through the next day. There was, again, this was another day where I'm pretty sure I woke up, left early by like 10:30, and didn't get home until probably 7, 8, 9 at night, because sometimes after work I literally go to the gym and I'm at that gym until 9 o'clock at night. But then again, during the day I needed lunch, I grabbed something for dinner, but I'm pretty sure these were different days. But it's just food, right? It's food when I'm out and about. That is the big, I think, the lesson here. And I guess I switched to days here, but yes, so Target was work. So this would kind of fall under the unexpected expenses. I have like an electrical cord thing, like something I need to use to plug my phone into my computer, you know, just like a cord I use for pretty much work, home. I had to replace it, and that was $27.07. So this would be like an unexpected expense that I was just like, well, I kind of need it. I can't not buy one. And so I just had to go get one. And that was just kind of, and this is probably a tax write-off for me, but you know, I didn't use my business account. I used my personal for it. So this is the breakdown of what I did. And yeah, it was kind of, I would say, one, it was eye-opening for a few reasons. One is that, like, I'm going to look at what I budgeted. So I budgeted $200 for food, but I was pretty low at food at that point. I have like a limited diet, and it's, so but I can eat like meat. And so that's one of the, basically the main thing I eat at this point. And so I bought like bulk things for the freezer. Like I went to Sam's Club and I bought like big bags of chicken, some fish, like stuff that I could keep in the freezer and pull meals from. But yeah, that stuff adds up. And anyway, I don't know. Maybe I should track like my actual food list next. That might be nice, because I guess on top of that is I didn't leave myself any money in my wallet for personal. Well, I left 20 for personal, but I had a personal item I needed to buy, like just a personal care item that I use every day. Oh, I need a toothpaste, like just stuff like that comes up. I didn't leave anything for going out. So I think what I'm realizing is and a lot of this is work-based. So I've come to some conclusions. I think one is that I need to account for the fact that I just need to have cash for when I'm out and about, and putting it in the budget would be smart, because then I wouldn't be using my debit card. Because again, my goal is to get away from using my debit card, just like using my checking account to pay bills and stuff, and then have every dollar accounted for, and know what I can spend. Like that is what I continue to work towards. But you know, for me, I mean, I'm coming from a place of not really knowing about money to teaching myself, basically. So I think this was really helpful in that effort. We're gonna break this down into categories. So that's where I get to use my protractor so I can make a nice pie chart to fill in. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at myself because I've had this, well, because one, I'm a dork, and then also I was really excited I got to use this today, but I just realized, oh no, there's a pencil in here. Okay. I guess I have 2 protractors. What is up with this? Oh, that one you can actually put your own in. Oh my gosh, you guys, that's really cool. I didn't realize that's what this was. Yeah, that's too. All right, I think I'll use the one with the pencil. But cool. Okay. So the first, or the pencil. I lost the lead and that makes me sad. All right, so the first thing I need to do is make a big pie chart. So let's see, how big can we get away with? It's gonna, yeah, that's good. Okay. I knew I was going too low. All right, I went too low. That's okay. Sorry guys, I'm laughing at myself because the joy of getting to use this right now is indescribable. I bought this because I actually need it. So I think you guys know I'm a pediatric OT, so I have those assessments that I score. Some of them I need to be able to look at angles or like measurements because that becomes really important with the kind of score that you score on these assessments. So I bought this for that, and I always use these at work, but I never gotten to use this yet. And so I'm like, yeah, this is the bonus. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. 11. So I need to break my circle into 11s. That's a prime number. That's not even gonna work. I was hoping I'd end up with like a multiple of 3 or a multiple of 2, because if you divide the circle, you could divide it by 2s or divide it by 3s, but how do you divide it? How do I make 11 equal parts? Sorry, you guys came for the expense tracker budgeting and you're staying for like the math problem of the day. All right, so I need to break this into 11, but that would be 8. I don't know how to make it even. 4. I feel like there's probably some formula for this. Don't ask me, but I did notice that this is almost the perfect size. So I wonder if I could like, if I went like, I'm gonna do, so 1, 2. So I basically need like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Man, that it really is that 12th, that number 12 that's just throwing me off. Because I could just divide this by 3. Okay. So I think we're going to have to come to the conclusion that this is not going to be perfect, but it's going to be an estimate. And I know this is so off track from what we're doing here, but what are you going to do? Okay, I'm going to divide. I do love that this, no. I'm going to find like the halfway point. If I mess this up, that's okay. I'll have like uneven pie pieces, but that's not really I really just wanted to see like how much. I mean, look at that. That's not good. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so that's 11 pieces. We can all see it's uneven, but it kind of gets the point across. So I'm going to basically kind of figure out what I'm doing here. So first we have some, so first I'm just gonna break this down into what we're doing. So the first big category is food, right? So I want to save this because I think I'm going to do this again next paycheck and then get like a month total. This is almost like a subtotal. So food, we had 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 out of 11 was for food. And then coffee, right? My other big one. That was 1. Well, water too. I think I'll do coffee drinks because the water was just so random. 1, 2, 3. So 3 out of 11 for drinks, we'll call it. And then home stuff I didn't account for. Or maybe I should just do a like unaccounted for section. So unaccounted expenses. Sorry, that's my dog in the background if you hear her. She's like wandering around my desk right now. And now she's staring at me because I'm talking about her. Okay, I'm trying to figure out, I don't know, unaccounted doesn't really help with the details. So I guess I have home, and that's 1 out of 11. Let's just call it extra expenses, because the extra expenses, the ones that I really didn't need, would be the car wash. And I get, like I said, I know I don't need the Apple Music, but man, it's like just something little I do for myself, I guess, that just makes, I mean, I use it every day. I don't know. It's hard to get rid of extras, but okay. So 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I forgot about the cord. So I think the cord would be, I guess, an extra expense because it was something unaccounted for. I don't know. All right, let me get something to color with. The first thing I'm going to do is food, and we need to color 4. But that's only 3 because apparently I don't know how to do math. Okay. The next is drinks and coffee, which was 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I don't know why I'm trying to write the name in the same color I'm coloring it, but okay. So food and coffee. Or drinks. Then we had home, because that was an expense that I even tried to budget for, but in this case, I just basically didn't make the mark. I didn't leave enough for what I needed. Okay, and then the last 3 are my extra expenses. Again, these were just things that I really didn't account for that kind of came up. Like I wasn't even thinking about getting a car wash at all, right? It was just one day I was like, man, I kind of forgot about this. I had no idea I was going to need that. So these are really the kind of surprise expenses, let's call them. So when I look at my chart, really 7 out of 11. So I really don't like that I am using a prime number right now, but 7 out of 11 is almost 2/3. Almost, because again, we just have a weird number we're working with. Almost 2/3 of my miscellaneous money went to food and drinks. And so this is where I see the pattern here, and the realization that came to me was I am not accounting for what I do at work. So when I do my budget, I'm thinking of my bills. Okay, I have to pay my bills, right? I'm thinking about my debt snowball. I'm thinking about my sinking funds. I'm thinking about groceries for the week. Or, oh yeah, I remember I saw that I needed detergent, but I don't always even think of that part. I think about, am I going to go out this week? Do I have any plans this week? Or can I just, skip that? But I don't think about, so I think about, I guess, my home life and my personal life, but I do not think about my work life. And that, I think, so that's why this was so eye-opening for me, because I didn't account for the fact that I have to also cover my needs for work. And if I'm not going to come home right away for work, do I have what I need during the day? I think what I've kind of come down to is I don't plan on going out to eat, but and some weeks I don't at all. But it actually just turned out that the past 2 weeks have been a little crazy for me. It's been a little busy. There's been a lot going on. And so essentially, I think what I need on my budget is I need to start accounting for cash for when I'm at work, right? I need to think about these things. The other piece was 4 out of 7, which is about that remaining third. But if I would have accounted for all this in the budget, right, that's a lot of money. I mean, yeah. I'm really glad I did this because like I said, I just got paid today. I'm about to do my budget and figure it out for the next 2 weeks. And I think what I'm gonna do is make sure I actually budget in my wallet going out money, which is going to be specifically for all this stuff, right? Like, okay, I've been out of my house for 10 hours. The dinner thing was funny because I had actually been out of my house all day and I actually tried to go to the gym. And then when I got to the gym, I realized I had to get this cord. I'm like, oh, I guess I just need to go to Target and get that over with. So I left the gym, decided to go to Target instead and get what I needed to do to get taken care of. And then when I was in there, it was just like that, like, you know, like your sugar's dropping, like, oh my gosh, I have to eat now. And then I just desperately went and got something to eat that was like right there in the same complex because I just did. I was like, I need to eat now. So it's stuff like that, right? I just have to, I think I have to account for it because you never know when it's going to happen. All right. I'm curious to see what did this amount equal out to so I kind of know what should I budget for. Let's see. What should we do first? Okay, let's go ahead and add up. So again, we started at $209.25. Let's add this up and see how much I've taken away from that. So the total is $158.72. So that's pretty eye-opening and kind of makes sense if you think about what I leave. And then when my next budget, I'm like, I have $70 left. I have $60 left, right? I mean, that's where it went. And it's not always this food heavy. Sometimes it really is like dog food. Sometimes I'll be like, I forgot to put dog food in the budget and now I have to go buy Riley a $70 bag of dog foods. You know, sometimes it's stuff like that. But this past 2 weeks was just this. Let me see. So what should I have? I should have about 53 as rollover when I do my budget, which is pretty low, but okay. I want to add up the food and the drinks and see what of this should I be thinking about when I make my budget. And maybe I'll just do a work line. Maybe I should feel like I almost need petty cash. Like petty cash that's like really geared towards work, geared towards these moments where you're like, okay, I'm gonna be here till 7:30 at night and I brought some food, but I didn't bring enough and I have this chunk of time free, so I'm gonna go grab something, or oh yeah, I forgot my water bottle, or you know, stuff like that. I think I need to account. I like a petty cash line pretty much. Okay, so we have 15.77. And then so the total amount I spent with food and drinks of my miscellaneous was $82.20. So yeah, I think this was, again, kind of excessive for me. I never barely ever eat out for dinner because I actually don't really eat dinner anymore, to be honest. I pretty much just eat 2 meals a day. But I didn't eat lunch that day. So I think by the time that time came around, I was like, well, I really need to eat. Okay, so what I'm feeling here is that on my budget, I need to start making a work petty cash line, maybe I'll start with like about $80 to $85, depending on what I have, or maybe $70 to $80, and keep that in my wallet and see if that makes a difference. So I am going to do this again for my 15th check, but I guess this is it. I don't know, I feel... and it's funny because I saw myself doing this and I was like, oh my gosh, I really am going to have to write this out. But I think I'm glad to, I guess I'm just kind of like, why don't I think about my work life, right? And I just need to give myself money for work. If that was in my budget and that was there for me, I think a lot of this wouldn't have been here. All right, you guys, I hope that was interesting. I feel it was a little embarrassing and a little hard to do. It's hard to look at. I feel like I'm looking at my habits right now. I think I've made great improvements in my financial habits, but I am by no means perfect. I'm flawed and I still make mistakes, right? And I'm thinking financially here, like, I mean, in other areas of my life, obviously, but financially, I'm still making mistakes. I'm still learning. I'm still resorting to old habits of just using my debit card willy-nilly, right? I'm still fighting this part. I'm kind of still at that part of my financial journey. But I do think that this was incredibly helpful. I think like the whole point of miscellaneous, honestly, for me is to cover that piece, right? It's to cover the unexpected. But when I look at it, the unexpected was only 3 out of an 11 things. So it was only like basically a little less than a quarter of what I actually did, which just should this. So this is like, this could be fixed with budgeting. So we'll look at it. We'll think about this for our budget. We're going to track again, and then it'll be fun at the end of May to see if I do better for my second round with my second check. But I hope you guys found this interesting. And to the person that commented that, thank you, because it was actually a really good idea. Thank you guys so much for watching. You're having a good weekend and a good Sunday. I will see you in my next video. Bye.